The Dell XPS 13 is like a tortoise surrounded by hares, taking its time in adopting fresh, new tech to deliver an excellent, modern experience that doesn't leave legacy users behind. Plus, it's just bloody gorgeous. Dell has done it all over again. The latest and greatest Dell XPS 13 recently arrived, and it's the best laptop in the world. This time coming equipped with the latest, 7th generation, Intel processors behind that same eye-dropping display and punchy keyboard we've come to enjoy typing on, now all within an optional rose gold frame. The new XPS 13 has wowed us all over again. And, much of that isn't thanks to crazy innovations or fresh additions, but a few key refinements that help the XPS 13 stand out amongst a sea of laptops that are perhaps trying to change a bit too quickly. The XPS 13 is a tortoise surrounded by hares, only it's got a rocket strapped to its back. Available now through its website and several retailers, Dell begins the bidding for the standard XPS 13 at $799, £999, $1,899 to start. In the US, that gets you a Kaby Lake, dual-core Intel Core i3 processor with Intel HD graphics 620, 8GB of RAM and 128GB of solid-state storage behind an FHD, 1920 by 1080 pixels, non-touch Infinity Edge display. The UK and Australian versions come starting with an Intel Core i5. If you want the touchscreen at QHD+, 3200 by 1800 resolution, and the two screen features only come as a pair, you'll need to cough up at least $1,299, £1,249, 2,499 Australian dollars. That also nets you a dual-core Intel Core i5 chip, but sadly doesn't up the storage or RAM capacity. Of course, you can choose to upgrade both of those components for extra cash. The Dell XPS 13 has been out, Kaby Lake processors, rose gold outfit and all, for 7 months now, and, in the time since its release, it's taken on a life of its own with tons of new firmware updates, and even a hardware upgrade, to thank for it. With Intel's 8th generation refresh processors on the way, the Dell XPS 13 is getting a refresh of its own come September 12. On that day, for the first time ever, we'll see the option of a Dell XPS 13 donning a souped-up quad-core processor clocking in at up to 4 GHz. Still, as long as you're okay to hang back with the 7th gen Kaby Lake crowd, you'll find astronomical deals on some sharply high-end configurations. An i7 model, with 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB of SSD space, for instance, can be found for $1,499 from the Microsoft Store. Frankly, there isn't a ton to be said of the XPS 13's design this time around, as very little, if anything, has changed. You still have the 13.3-inch display as sharp as QHD+, 3200 by 1800 pixels, with optional touch controls squeezed inside an 11-inch wide frame. And, you still have the gorgeous, machined aluminum lid and base that beset a comfy, carbon fiber keyboard deck coated in soft touch paint. Only this time, the lid and base come in rose gold, the salmon shade that's all the rage in tech products these days, as well as the traditional silver option. The machine somehow measures even thinner than the previous generation, though only by a hair, 0.33 inches, 9 mm, at its thinnest point to 0.6 inches, 15 mm, at its thickest. For those keeping score, the previous model came in at 0.02 of an inch thicker at the nose. Dell has also reduced the weight of its leading laptop, but by such a small degree it would be impossible to notice, from 2.93 pounds, 1.32 kilograms, to now just 2.9 pounds, 1.29 kilograms, even for the touchscreen model. Short of a major breakthrough in the materials used to construct the XPS 13, we're likely looking at the thinnest and lightest Ultrabook from Dell for a while. Please, prove us wrong. All told, we're still smitten by the XPS 13 design, and frankly we're happy it hasn't changed much, because it doesn't have to. One small request: if Dell could at least center that bottom bezel-oriented webcam like it has on the new, that would be clutch. During our time with the new XPS 13, we realized an important point: this laptop can match and even surpass the new, entry-level part for part. For $100 less than Apple's latest laptop, the XPS 13 offers a sharper screen, a stronger processor and the same amount of RAM and storage. Oh, and this guy has a full-size SD card slot. The MacBook Pro? You'll get one more Thunderbolt 3 port, one of which needs to be used for charging, and little else for its starting price. On paper, it seems like the XPS 13 will give you a better time editing photos and video than its arch-nemesis. Well played, Dell. Nick Pino has also contributed to this review.